Hi, everyone, and welcome to Collective Code. My name is Miss Travis. I am joined by my wonderful teammates here at Collective Code. I have Ari, Sarah, Katrina, and Corey. So today we're going to dive into some hot topics. What we're going to try and do every week is just try and stay on top of whatever information that comes our way and discuss it in a manner where in a real place where there's real talk where it pertains to us and our personal lives and hopefully find solutions in the end. This is a safe space, so if we ever do a live, you are welcome to come and join us in the conversation, but this is definitely a place to express yourself. There's a lot of things going on. So, all right, to start us off, I am going to bring up the situation with Democratic Congressman John Larson. His question is, where is Elon Musk? And from an emotional standpoint, I mean, the fact that he showed so much passion and so much anger, um, I think it lit the fire. I wish it could have changed the outcome from today, but his energy is exactly what we need in the Democratic side. Um, and to just kind of go off of that, I kind of feel like the Democrats aren't doing enough. And I think that was proven today. But this congressman did a phenomenal job in putting and holding Elon Musk accountable for all of the bullshit that's been going on. People losing their jobs, their livelihood, their homes. And not only that, it's not federal workers. This is all trickling down to the citizens, to us, to our families, to our grandmas, to our children, to our special needs children. Um, our race, DEI is gone. So, there's just a lot of things going on here. And the fact that he expressed himself in a way that I think all of us were feeling, he kind of put that out there. So I just want to say and commend him for him being so real and authentic. And that's what we aim to do here, is just to be real and authentic. And I think starting off with Congressman John Larson is a pretty strong start. So what do you guys think?
Who wants to go first?
This is our first recording. Please be patient.
I mean, maybe we should have an order of who goes first. But yeah, I think it's about time for us, for Democrats, let's not say us, for Democrats to be real, to express ourselves. And honestly, like, if Elon Musk is going to play, what do we call him now? Assistant president, he needs to present himself to Congress and tell us, what he's doing and why he's doing, and all those lies that he posts on X, about how there are millions of 150-year-old people getting Social Security and all this scam and fraud and waste that's not scam and fraud and waste. Well, he needs to come tell Congress and let it be on the record, because you can post anything you want on X, but once you go to Congress and actually say this is the truth, then you have it on record that you're saying under oath that truly I'm finding fraud and waste in government. He knows it's a lie. He knows he can't say that in Congress because it's a lie. He's gonna be called out on it, and there's no evidence to back up what he's saying. He's just a liar. And what Republicans are protecting him because they also know that he's lying. Mm-hmm. And if he says that, he will be lying under oath, and they don't want him to do that. So yeah, I think it's about time that, they just tell so many lies and their followers soak it up. I don't know if it's because they want to soak it up or it's because there's nobody countering those lies with the same fervor that they're using to tell the lies. So I think that was a good thing that the congressman did. That's my opinion.
Absolutely. Katrina, what do you think?
It was so refreshing to see that level of just passion and just real reaction.
Mhm.
I think that on the Democratic side, people want to maintain decorum, which is great most of the time. This is not the time for that.
Yes.
So it was great and very encouraging to see that. And I would love to see more of that. I would like to see more Congress members bring that same level of passion because otherwise, why are they even there?
Right.
And if they're not there to present the views of their constituents, then we need to vote them out.
Agreed.
Simple,
Mhm.
calculation.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think we should, I don't think there's any additional context needed to overcomplicate things unnecessarily. Straightforward. If you're there, if you're representing your constituents' best interests, great. If you're not, you need to get out.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's true.
Mhm,
It's true. We need more of that.
mhm.
Right, Sean, what do you think?
I mean, I thought it was good. I want more of the Democrats to be angry. I mean, people are tearing up your government. They won't follow normal procedure, and they won't, do the oversight that Congress is meant to do.
Mhm.
I think we should stop being, please, stop asking them, please do your job, and demand why they are not doing their job. So I'm absolutely supportive of his anger because I'm angry.
Yeah, I'm angry too. I think we're all feeling the same way. And just to add to that, Jasmine Crockett, she kicks ass. AOC does a great job too. I mean, those are the people. Pete Buttigieg, I probably slaughtered his last name, but
You're right.
he's definitely someone I could see running for president. I mean, he's just very outspoken. He's confident, and he speaks up. And he does it in a manner that's so professional, but it's so like almost aggressive. It's I just love the way he comes across to people. I think it's great. Corey, what do you think?
On which part? There's a lot. Well, because there's a lot I got to say, but
Okay, that's all right.
uh, first off, I don't even know who this John Larson guy is, which
Mhm.
I'm very involved in politics, but I've not heard about.
Congressman
So
from Connecticut.
okay, I'll have to watch after this. I think based on where we're at in the conversation, anger is appropriate, but it has to be it can't just be anger. Like
Yeah.
that kind of is a lot of our problem is that we're just like, again, I've been saying this like 8 years of us screaming Trump bad. That's not going to do anything.
Hmm.
What are they doing that is bad? Specifically, hone in on they're cutting cancer research, they're cutting Medicaid, and it's not just waste, fraud, and abuse. It's going to be this, that. How much money? And bring the receipts. I mean, I think maybe at this point we don't necessarily have the receipts because they haven't like cut Medicaid yet.
Yeah.
So I don't. Whatever receipts are available, do what Katie Porter did. Bring them up on the fucking screen. In the
Mhm.
hearings. Okay. I mean, I
Mhm.
and another thing I'm gonna say, like, I'll get. I promise out of everybody here, I will be the most critical of our party. They as far as uh why the Democrats need to do more. As a general rule, they're not doing more because they don't care. They don't care. They're fine. They're living in Washington. They're living their best lives. This is not affecting them at all. People like Schumer, they're going to get reelected regardless. I don't know what's going on with him. Uh, I think we should prop up the members of our party that are doing shit.
Mhm.
And no one's doing more shit than Bernie. Okay. He's actually out there touring the country, talking to people, explaining how their lives are going to start being shit on because of what's going on.
Right.
As opposed to just, I mean, I don't want to be too critical, because I don't necessarily think this is the time to. I'm very conflicted. I don't, I don't think all of our time should be like, as I mentioned yesterday, but I like reforming our party is important, but it is kind of more about stopping them right now. But I think it needs to be a combination of both.
Mhm.
And you can, y'all might disagree with me, and I know it's probably going to sound rich coming from a male, but another problem with our party is the identity politics. I'm not saying there's not a place for that, and I'm not saying we should ignore racism or misogyny or transphobia. We shouldn't ignore any of it. But like, and I love Jasmine Crockett, and I really especially love AOC, but they tend to hone in on specifically that, like, all of MAG is racist, all like, it's not going to win over voters. It's not going to win over people that are currently supporting the administration. All we need to be talking about is the economic impact and how it's going to be affecting people's lives.
Mhm.
Unless there's actually explicit, in your face bigotry and prejudice and racism, like, okay, at that point, absolutely call it out.
I have
But
something to say to that.
yeah, go ahead. I'll let you.
So I think that there's a difference between how these people respond and things that go viral. If you actually watch sessions where Jasmine or AOC are talking and responding to things, they are bringing up facts, things that are actually happening. Now, Jasmine, I'm going to use Jasmine as an example. Maybe I'll get to AOC, but I don't want to talk too much. But Jasmine is a Black woman, right? And from the perspective of a Black woman, will tend to be seen as this angry people, because we speak passionately. And if you're going to call her an angry woman, well, she's leaning into that and using that to get her points out there. Now, she was a successful lawyer before she came to Congress. She's smart, she's bright, she knows what she's talking about. And she says all these things, but TikTok or whoever is cutting little snippets brings out the part where she's very animated and she's very, like, and that goes viral. That doesn't mean that that's all she's doing, but that's also part of her character. That's part of the way she talks. She's not going to stop talking like that. Now, people have made her into this woman that only talks like that. And honestly, she doesn't have to apologize for it. So
No.
yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I want to explain that that's not all she is. That's a part of her. It's not all she is.
Sure.
She's a smart woman that really does. Like, if you listen to all the things that she says on the floor about Elon, and she actually points out facts about the things that he's doing. It's just that they don't want you to see that part. They just want to characterize her as this angry Black woman, and that's the part that they keep making viral and goes viral. But that's not all she said. So yeah, well, do you want to say, do we want all the people there to behave the same way? Like, people have different personalities and characteristics. So those parts of the characteristics that are already kind of like cliche are the things that are going viral, is what I'm trying to say, as far as Jasmine is concerned. Now, AOC, again, intelligent woman. She doesn't only talk about race. She talks about the socioeconomic effects of these things that are happening. People just aren't listening. They aren't listening to the things that she's saying. They've just decided to put her in this box of I don't know, this dumb 26-year-old girl when she first started in Congress. And it's almost like she's never going to come out of that little box that they've put her in. But it's not
Better,
true. She's saying
better
the
be
same things
president
that
one day.
Bernie is saying. She's going on tour with Bernie next week. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she's doing the same things. Like, honestly, to some point, it seems like women just can't win. You know, we're talking about this on the group chats. Like, it's like we just can't win because they won't take us seriously, and that's part of the issues in this country. And that's part of the reasons why the women keep emphasizing this, because people aren't taking them seriously. They can say the same things and even better,
They
but
do
they're gonna
take them
pick out the little
seriously, and
part.
they
I'm
do. Like
sorry.
the Republic. No, you're good. The Republicans take them seriously. That's why they attack every move they make. So yes, everything you said is fine. I just
But I
no, they
hear you.
do take her seriously. That's why they try to shut them the fuck
But
down, because they're a
do
threat
you
to them.
think that there's a chance that these people we're talking about are ever going to listen to somebody like Jasmine? Like,
No.
these people are just, I'm sorry, they're just bigoted. They're not going to
Yeah.
listen to Jasmine.
I
There's
think,
no way. There's no way.
yeah,
Like,
I
look at
think part
Michelle.
of and I think part of the problem is social media. They want to ramp up all these, videos that go viral, and
Mhm.
that's what people depend on. I think people have to really, engage with like C-SPAN and, maybe MSNBC with Rachel Maddow. I mean, there are legitimate, there's a lot of podcasters, there's a lot of people on YouTube. So I
Mhm.
think that's part of the problem. And if you're not reaching out and you're only looking at these viral videos going out, then that's exactly what you're going to think of Jasmine Crockett. I have seen her on the floor. I have seen her in action, and she doesn't yell and scream, but she gets her
No.
point across, and she
No, she
holds
doesn't,
people
yeah.
accountable.
Yeah.
Don't
Because
be wrong. I love watching
when,
her. I have no
yeah,
problem really with her.
I
I was
hear
just
you,
saying,
and
like,
I hear
yeah,
you, and I know you're
I
trying
love
to.
her.
I know you're trying to, find solutions. I'm just trying to tell you that from her own point of view, there's no win. There's no way to win except she becomes something that's not her. Like,
Right.
unless she becomes something that's not her. And being her is why her constituents, people that love her, voted her. If she stops being herself, the people that actually put her there don't want that,
Yeah.
It's a tightrope to walk. It's like she has to keep being herself. She has to bring the passion, but
Mhm.
at the same time, she has to find a way to still say the facts, to bring out the issues.
She
Now,
does.
why?
Mhm.
Yeah, why are people like? Why are so-called middle people not inviting her to things? Why are they not inviting her to like non-partisan things to talk? Let's like
Wait,
you
where?
no, I don't know. All this what you call it, social media podcast people that try
Oh,
to invite people from both sides or so. Why are they not inviting her? Why are they just assuming that she's gonna? What are you scared of? Why are you not inviting her?
she's been on Charlemagne. I mean, we don't. Our side doesn't do that. We'll only go on CNN, because
But
I
she's
know,
gonna go where she's invited, right?
Well, they could reach out. Bernie and AOC, like AOC kind of stopped. She used to go on Young Turk. She's still progressive and no corporate donors, and like she's great, but she's kind of fallen into the friends of establishment people. So she's like in that circle now. But our party, like, they're scared. They won't go anywhere that they're gonna get criticized unless we get to choose what you guys ask us. We're not gonna do it. Like, there's a lot of that. They're not gonna go. Like, that's why Kamala wouldn't go on Joe Rogan.
Are Republicans going to places where they're going to be criticized?
Mm-hmm.
Are they though?
They have.
Yeah.
Are they going to places where they're going to be asked real questions, or are they going to places where they know that people are already sympathetic towards them?
No, I've seen them doing more than the Democrats do, because think about this. Because on the right wing stuff, they don't. If you're a right winger, you'll go on a left and you just won't let them talk, right? You'll just be an asshole and not let. Whereas You know what I mean? So like they kind of have an
Right.
advantage wherever they go because I don't know. I've seen, I can't
But
name one
here's the thing: if
specific.
you have a podcast, you invite people to your podcast. They don't invite themselves to your podcast. So if right wing people are going to leftist podcasts, that means the leftists are inviting them to their podcasts. Now, why are we not seeing right wing people inviting leftists to their podcasts? It's because they don't want to hear it.
Well, I will
Well,
say,
you have
like,
a
Attempts
strong voice.
attempts
Yes.
going to a Reddit the Reddit conservative group. Your comments is going to be deleted. Like they're not even going to let it stay. They're just going to
Yeah.
delete your comments. It's not allowed to have any opposing view. It's just
Right.
not allowed.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, we went kind of off track.
That's okay.
no, we want the
That's a good
fire.
conversation. Yes, the fire. So don't worry about it. That's what this place is for, and you guys know that. So, hey, I'd love to see that fire in you
And we're
guys.
not even arguing either. We're just like,
No, we're not.
yeah.
Yep. Just having a conversation
Yes.
without getting angry, but still able to express ourselves. So that's what it's all about. All right, Sean, do you have any topics you want to? Let's change the topic.
Yes.
Yes. I'm going to talk about a topic a little closer to home for me. I'm in Western North Carolina, and we have a lot of farms and farmers here, a lot that were wiped out in the hurricanes. So some of the big things here are that I guess I just want to talk about my frustration with the Republicans surrounding our farmers. So right now, they're talking out one side of their mouth where in December, Congress approved like $20 billion in disaster relief for the farmers across the country for like the fires and the floods. That money has not yet been distributed, and now Republicans are asking, when are you going to distribute this? Trying to figure out if they can get a lot of farmers don't even qualify for the disaster assistance because if they're like a specialty type grower, like apples in North Carolina or strawberries in California, then they're making too much of their income from actual farm production. Therefore, they don't qualify for the assistance. So there's some of that push in there. There's a lot of our Congress people in North Carolina who have signed these letters to the USDA asking for when they're going to release these funds and whatnot. And, they're showing a lot of concern. While on the other side, they're voting for a bill that would cut $230 billion from the USDA out of these programs that help our farmers. For instance, programs in the amount of like $1 billion have already been canceled that connected local farms and schools so that students would have food. So now, they're canceling that. They're calling it non-essential. That's a quote from the secretary of the USDA now. They're going to be cutting 200. They want to cut 230 billion more. I'm just trying to figure out, like, do farmers and Republicans understand that they're, trying to placate them over here, but trying to take their long-term money? I'm pretty frustrated about that. So, any feedback?
Well, I am in the Valley. I am in California, and there are a lot of Trump supporters around here. And it makes me wonder, when you talk about things like that, if they thought about what their situation was going to be like when they voted. And now it's a total backpedal. Now it's like, oh shit, what did I do? So that's kind of my thing. It's kind of like fuck around and find out, right?
Yeah, it's so frustrating because I mean, even our farmers are getting hit from every side, right? U.S. aid funded billions of dollars to farmers. USDA is cutting funding for farmers. The tariffs are hurting farmers. I heard Tim Walz talk about how Minnesota has a big agriculture industry, and their biggest partner in that is Canada. They're trading with Canada,
Mhm.
and now these tariffs are hurting them. And I'm just, the other thing that I forgot to mention is that these farmers are under financial duress. They're going to be foreclosing on these farms, and then these farms are going to get bought up by other companies. We're no longer going to have all of our local farmers. They're going to get defunded, and probably go the same route as being privatized.
Mhm. Yeah.
So.
And that's where everything's headed. Social Security. I mean, and that's one of the reasons why John Larson got so angry, because I believe the topic was Social Security, and that day they had threatened to take away the phone service for elderly people, in particular disabled elderly people, which they would have to turn to a website. My mom has a hard time operating a website, and I have to sit there and help her. So you're really putting people in harm's way. But that's one of the things, is that they talked about privatizing that sector as well. So it's just it's all turmoil at this point. But Corey, did you have something?
I was just going to answer your question, Yolanda, about the farm. And I didn't know this until a couple days ago. 'Cause I first term Trump, I didn't. I saw nothing, just completely in the left field, and didn't see any appeal or reason why anybody could blah blah blah. He helped farmers a lot in his first term. So he gave a lot of subsidies to them. So
Yep.
I was just answering your question as far as for them, that voting block in particular, they voted for him because they figured he'd help them out again, right? Obviously these tariffs now, there's a lot of opinion / research statistics, blah blah blah, that farmers are going to get screwed because of these tariffs, because a lot of the stuff that they use come from China and whatever. So, or I'm sorry, Canada and Mexico. But I was just trying to answer your question, because you were like, why would they vote for him? And because they got a lot of help from him the first term. So
Right.
that's all I
Right.
want to say.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted
Yeah.
to say that I thought I read somewhere that a lot of farmers actually lost their farms the first time he was president. And that's what surprised that, back to Sean's point, seems like they talk out of both sides of their mouth. On one hand, they're like, oh, we love our farmers, and they're confusing these people. And then on the other hand, they're passing all these bills that are going to hurt them, and they're going to destroy farmers. They're going to, especially smaller farmers, because I believe that their goal is to bankrupt small farmers, so that what's it called? What's that thing that JD Vance has? These companies that buy up companies that are dying, essentially.
Oh,
Yeah.
Acre Trader is buying up. They only buy farmland.
Yeah. So those kind of companies will come in, and they have they make it into much larger farmers owned by billionaires, take over all the small farmers. And especially small farmers small farms are into sustainable farming, organic farming, and things like that. So it's both sides, and it's the same concepts that they're doing almost in every sector. It's divide and conquer, turning farmers on themselves, big farmers versus small farmers, and then private schools versus public schools, this versus that, race, white versus black. They're just turning people on each other. That's the way to conquer people, divide and conquer. So it really is sad. I was like, farmers, why are you supporting this guy this time around? I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but it's so sad to see, especially smaller farmers that are trying to, stick to sustainable farming, just seeing that they can't hold on anymore. Like I shared
Mhm.
a link about a farmer that posted something like that, like, this year is not going to be able to afford to pay staff because they're taking back some of the grants that he got from Biden.
Mhm.
And he normally pays people above the minimum wage, but he can't afford to do that anymore. So yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all gonna have to be eating mass produced foods that, no organic food anymore. It's all gonna
Well,
be
on top of that, I mean, you're deporting immigrants,
immigrants.
whether they're
Yep.
legal or not, whether they have citizenship or not,
Mm.
everyone is getting deported, especially
Mm.
something that an act of 17 something. What was that today?
Oh yeah, 1796 in
Yeah, it's
1798
the
invoking
enemies immigrant act or something like
insurrection
Enemies
something.
Alien Act of
Yeah.
1798. It's been used twice before in American history.
Yep.
At least
To
twice.
use to deport. Yep.
So I
immigrants.
mean, that's a big part of the problem. They're the ones that are going to get out there and do the job, coming to this country to make a better life for themselves, and they decide to kick everyone out. Meanwhile, the farmers are going to suffer because all these crops are going to rot.
Mhm.
So they've completely, I mean, if they voted for Trump, they've completely fucked themselves. Like seriously. And it's sad because they didn't see this coming. I don't think anyone that voted for Trump saw any of this coming. I think he ran on a bunch of lies.
Some did.
And
Some did.
now, well, the
I think
tariffs,
some
okay,
wanted this. A small portion wanted everything they're saying.
right? But
Yeah,
I mean, the
I know.
tariffs, yeah, he did say that in his campaign, but to do this in a way that is destroying our country and the inconsistency, the up and down. I mean, the market was crashing today. Elon's probably helping it. Today. It was crashing for about a week and a half up until yesterday. So anyway, don't get me started.
It's like, okay, so you're doing all these things locally, making it harder for the farmers to be able to harvest and plant and blah blah blah. And you're gonna put tariffs on imports. So now we can't even get the cheaper foods from anywhere anymore. Oh, you're firing people. So people don't actually have job money to buy food. And you're cutting all the grants for the ones that are not being fired. So people are gonna get fired from private sector. It's like, what you want us I mean, they did tell us that we're gonna suffer, right? Musk said that like before the election.
Right.
He did.
Yeah. So Katrina, so you have a topic for us? Let's change the subject. There's so much to get to. I think
Sure.
each of us bringing up a topic, it brings up 10 other things. So this is actually a really good conversation because it kind of overlaps with each other. So Katrina, what's on your mind?
So, and I'm just pulling up this article here. It's an NPR article about the Senate passing the spending bill to avoid a government shutdown, right? And one of the quotes from that was like that this is something that the Democrats have characterized the bill as a quote unquote blank check to President Donald Trump because the bill makes no attempt to rein in the admin's ongoing efforts to cut the spending that was previously approved by Congress. Okay. So great. So Schumer flip-flopped, right? And said one thing behind closed doors, then reneged and said, okay, we want to try to maintain, this peace, right? And just kind of roll over, basically. So what the heck are they doing?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, is this a joke? Like this is not like high school politics, right? This is not like
Congress is a
student.
joke.
Yeah,
to
this is
be
not
fair.
like students pretending like play government. This is like actual government. This is like people's lives. This is people's livelihoods. I understand the intention, or at least what he is stating is his intention, right? To not divide, along party lines, et cetera, whatever. But how is that any better than the chaos that we're already having? So, and I understand it is a complicated situation. So I'm not denying that. It is complex, it is complicated, but either there's free reign versus, okay, we don't want to shut down, so we're just going to allow anything to happen. Well, then where's the line? Where's the accountability?
Mhm.
Who's holding anyone accountable for anything?
Right.
I,
And
you know,
go
sorry.
ahead. No,
Yeah,
please go ahead, jump in.
I heard a couple things about this, right? I like listened to what AOC said, and I kind of listened. I don't think that it was Schumer, but I think it was somebody talking about Schumer. Essentially, they felt like if they didn't vote, for this measure, then Donald Trump would be able to just continuously keep the government in shutdown, and then he would be able to write off this, like non-essential employees, and then they wouldn't be able to bring them back
Right.
and all this stuff. I'm like, okay, well, I guess there's a point there. But what AOC was saying was, okay, well, alternatively to doing this and alternatively to passing, their thing, then we should do a 30-day stopgap. And she's like, what's the problem with us coming back in a month? Because I guess it's like let out of session or something. So yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, like, do they not want to have to schedule a flight back home in 30 days in order to, maybe use that as leverage, the time as leverage? I don't, why just roll over?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Honestly, I don't think that Democrats, how do I put this? I don't think that they had a lot of I don't think that they had a hand to play, honestly. And Republicans know that. They know that we don't want to give Donald Trump the power to, go crazy if the shutdown happens. And that's why they didn't even offer to have any negotiations with Democrats, because they're like, we're just gonna do what we want. You can agree with us or you cannot, because they know both ways they're winning. So it's a very difficult situation. It's like they're not even negotiating. Like in the past, this always happens, right? We know this happens all the time. But the difference is, in the past, at least the majority party would negotiate with the minority party for at least some things. This time, they didn't even offer to negotiate.
Exactly.
Because they're like, whatever, like, if you like. So I don't think that Republicans would have gone for a 30-day stopgap or anything. They're just like, take it or leave it. You want it to shut down? Sure. You want it to continue? Sure. So
Right.
I think at the end of the day, everybody has to vote for their conscience.
Yeah, that's
Well,
very
at least
true.
I don't think that you should have folded. I don't think you should have folded. I think you should. I think people like Trump, you need to call their bluff. And I think that's what started.
That's when he caves.
The problem.
That's when he caves.
People did not call his bluff. People allowed him to just race through the entire country. Like people that are bullies are actually cowards. You need to stand up to them. If you stand up to them, there's a chance that they'll back down. If you don't stand up to them, they're gonna run you over. So that's the problem. Now he knows that Schumer is
bullies are insecure people, period.
So Schumer
they have thin skin. They can't handle criticism, and that's just like today. Trump was talking about putting people in jail that say things on their network about him and all the 34 felony counts and all the criminal activity he's done, because he's a 34 count felon, and that's a fact. So it's just stuff like that, and then in a time where Democrats have to agree or run this, whatever was going in Congress today, meanwhile they're trying to decide, and then Trump is over here making a speech and totally just bullying and trying to intimidate Democrats and all the other people that don't agree with what he's doing.
And you blame him? It's working.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Hey, Corey, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted you guys to. I wanted to read Okay, first off, did you guys see the tweet from AOC about this? Is that what y'all were referencing?
No, I didn't
No.
see that.
Okay. Well, I got two tweets here.
Please
Because I
share.
tried to mention earlier, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm not an expert on congressional negotiations or whatever the hell you want to
Yeah.
call it. But Manu Raju, he's a journalist. You guys recognize him if you saw him. So this was his tweet. And then I'm gonna kind of try to explain a little bit. He said, Thune, so John Thune's the minority or majority leader of the Senate, right? This was his tweet. Manu Raju. Thune takes procedural step to bring the House spending bill to the floor. Vote would occur Friday morning, hours before the deadline, unless there's an agreement. 60 votes would be needed. Schumer's threatening to block it. But senators on both sides think an agreement to give Dems an amendment, or to give Dems an amendment vote for a 30-day extension, which would fail, could help end the standoff. I tried to tell you guys yesterday, Schumer had never intended to block it. There was I guess this amendment extension thing. They could vote cloture on that, which would then allow the original bill to go through, but without them voting on it. So looked like they didn't vote on it, but it would still happen anyway. Kind of trickery shit. And I don't know much about this journalist, but I recognize him, and I recognize him as a leftist. But then AOC, who I 100% trust, she also echoed this. She tweeted, I hope Senate Democrats understand there is nothing clever about setting up a fake failed 30-day CR first to turn around and vote for cloture on the GOP spending bill. Those games won't fool anyone. It won't trick voters. It won't trick House members. People will not forget it. So again, I don't know, is Schumer like, and this is me talking out of my ass because I don't know what Schumer is thinking.
That's what we're here for.
But I would assume that the real reason Schumer doesn't want the government to shut down is it's going to affect all their stocks and all their donors and their lives and what's going on in Washington. That's what, but he's got to keep up the act that he's, trying to appeal to us, the lefties. So
I think he.
Mhm.
my point is that I don't, based on what I've heard, I don't think they ever planned on blocking it.
No.
Right.
So
Yeah.
they just pretended like it because they knew the Democrats would flip the hell out. Really? You're going to work with these guys? What the hell are you doing?
I think
So-
Mr. Chuck has a secret bromance with Trump. That's what I think.
Think who has a secret
That
romance?
is talking out of my ass, Corey.
Well,
I feel
Schumer's
like-
establishment and
Sure.
Trump is establishment. He's, as much
Yep.
as he pretends to not be, he is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's
That's
less than the
facade.
rest of them, though. I mean, I'll give him that.
Mhm.
He's definitely
Yeah.
he will, if it's going to benefit him, he'll fuck over the establishment in a heartbeat. Whereas,
Mhm.
the rest of them, give me donor money, sir, please. What can I do?
Mhm.
So,
Well, there's
that-
an image that was, I forgot where I saw it, but it was a tight shot of Chuck and Trump.
Mhm.
I mean, they were like pulled into each other, and Chuck had like, did you see that? Chuck had this like, smile, smirk, and then like Trump had this like smirk on his face, and it just looked shady.
was it AI though, or are we sure this was real?
No, it was
Okay.
it was on. Yes, no, it was
Just
on.
saying,
a
you don't know
network.
what the hell is real
Network.
anymore.
That was
True.
not on. No,
Does
it was not on
anybody-
social media?
Does anybody know this guy? This guy, well, he's mainly on Blue Sky, but I'm sure he's on other social media too. Texas Paul. He's older. He wears a cowboy hat. He's an older man. I
Wait,
follow this kind of
he's a-
people. OG Democrats. Okay.
Gosh.
He's a congressman.
No, 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 he's not. He's just an OG Democrat. I mean, yeah. But he has something to say about Schumer, about why Schumer has a point. Go look into it. Go see what he has to say if you want.
Oh, come on. Don't.
No, do you want? No, I don't want to take all the time. I don't want to take all the time, but
well, maybe that'll be your topic.
Yeah, that's your topic.
Yeah, let's do that. Ooh, ooh.
What? You want me to put
Come on,
We
Lily.
want to know. We want to know, Ari.
Not letting you go, girl. Come on. Let's do this.
Great show today. We hashed out this Chuck Schumer thing. We talked about why he was right and why he needs to fall on a sword anyways. This old Texas Paul. Hope your coffee's as good as mine. Hell, I hope it's better. Look, folks, it is real simple. If come tomorrow, you're still talking about Chuck Schumer instead of talking about what the Trump regime is doing to destroy our country. Now, we've got special elections coming up on the 1st of April, important ones. So come tomorrow, if you're wasting time talking about Chuck Schumer, instead of talking about Donald Trump and Elon Musk and how they're screwing veterans and how they're screwing up our economy and whatnot, if they come tomorrow, if you're still talking about Chuck Schumer, I'm just going to tell you, you're a fucking idiot and you're doing it wrong.
Oh my god.
I love it. I love it.
Yes, that
So I don't know if you heard the first part of what he said. Schumer was wrong, but he had to fall on his sword anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, yeah. So make whatever you want out of that. But one thing he always does is this: like this kind of things are decisions that are just, there's just no good way out of this. It's happened. Don't let it become a distraction, especially because now we have a rift between the House and the Senate, because they're supposed to be working together. Democrats are supposed to be working together, and now the House voted against this bill, the Senate voted for it. There's a rift. That's what they want. We can't allow that to continue to happen. So let's keep fighting.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. And that's the thing I did see in Substack. There's a lot of raw emotion in there, and there are a lot of angry people, but we can't lose sight of what we're trying to do, especially in our little group. Like, we want to make a difference, and everyone needs to be active. Everyone needs to call their representatives and go to town halls. Do what you can. Hey, create a podcast. Do it on your own. Just use your phone. Who cares? You know what I mean? But it's time for us to expand in this digital space, because that's where we're missing the mark. I think AOC is like on it. I wish Jasmine Crockett was more on. I think she's got followers and stuff that she has a whole camera crew. I think, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, that's what we're doing, and we can't give up. And I was sad to see everyone so discouraged today. But we just got to keep moving. Tomorrow will be another topic. It'll be another huge mess. And it is what it is. But all right, Corey.
Okay, I guess we'll go back to this from yesterday. Give me just a second here, and you can edit. You can edit out, right?
Maybe.
Okay. All right, give me a second here. I'm gonna go back to what I was talking about yesterday. I'm gonna be reading off a little bit of an article here.
Okay.
Ro Khanna, he's a member of the House of Representatives. He is introducing the Drain the Swamp Act. Because we can't, again, we're in a world right now where what the Trump administration is doing is awful, and we have to call that out and do what we can to stop it. But we can't ignore the underlying problem that our party is just as I'd say at this point our party's a little more corrupt, and what I mean by is that like the Republicans, they're doing what their people want. I mean, to an extent, and we have to deal with the corruption within our party, or we're going to continue to lose elections. And if there is any chance at reversing the roller coaster damage that is happening right now, we need to fix our party. So the Drain the Swamp Act that he's introducing, I'm just going to kind of highlight a little bit about it. Kana doesn't take any corporate money. He's very vocal about that. He said the political reform agenda focused on combating corruption is what we should run on in 2026. It was a mistake, Kana said. He didn't hear any political reform from Biden or Kamala during their presidential campaigns. Trump became the outsider. It was a mistake. We didn't run on the theme of reform. Getting money and lobbyists out of politics, that should be our mantle. And I want to pause, I voted for Hillary back in the day. That was my second election that I voted for. Yeah. Because she was the not Trump. I didn't know anything about her. I just blindly voted Democrat, and I still would have done that, knowing who Trump is. But I saw a clip of her and Hillary and Obama, I guess, in the primary. I guess the next time, maybe. Or let's see. No. Yeah, Obama would have been. So I guess it was before then, before he originally got elected, where Obama was talking about how it is a problem that people in Congress, people running for president, were beholden to corporate donors. And Hillary was asked, is that a problem? And she was pretty much like, no, it's not a problem. I take money from lobbyists. It's totally fine. And I was like, oh, that's why you lost. Okay, that's great. That's just a side note. So part of the Drain the Swamp Act says it would permanently prohibit White House officials from accepting gifts from lobbyists, reinstating a Biden-era mandate that established ethics and lobbying rules for appointees in the administration, and anti-corruption has to be core to rebuilding the Democratic brand. Democrats need to be seen as owning the mantle of reform. We need to run on anti-corruption. Our party enabled Trump to co-opt the Drain the Swamp theme of anti-corruption. Kana wants to ban former members of Congress from ever lobbying Congress. That's, the argument of, well, if it's your last term, why don't you then actually do all the things? Because you don't have to get reelected again. Well, because if you stray from the benefits of the lobbyists, then you won't get a job when you leave Congress. So that's why even in your last term, nothing changes there. He wants to impose 12-year term limits for congressional members and 18-year term limits on Supreme Court justices. And there needs to be a binding code of ethics. That's pretty much the gist. And we need to focus on economic populism. Yeah, that is the message. The problem is I don't know how to, I don't know how the party gets that to be the message. And I'm sorry, Yolanda, I have to call out, now that I'm talking on this topic, Buttigieg. He is extremely beholden to Wall Street. And I pulled up an article because I wanted to have my receipt. He received donations from 40 billionaires when he was running for his campaign. So just wanted to point that out. Yeah, I mean, is he an amazing spokesperson for our party?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I won't deny that. But yeah, and it sucks because, again, I want diversity. I want the first woman. I want a gay man, like all those things. I want them to get positions of power and
Corey,
yes.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Uh-oh.
I feel like I'm always coming
No,
for
I'm
Kurt.
not a
It's not
Republican.
intentional. It's not intentional. I mean, I just, I have questions. Okay.
Yeah. You're allowed to have questions. I will
Yeah.
allow it.
So, like, do you feel like Pete Buttigieg takes money from people because he has to in our current
Mhm.
climate of politics? Or do you think he's taking money because he wants to be beholden, or he likes all this money he's taking from people? Now, if we're not,
No.
if we want to make the playing field level and say nobody can take money from millionaires and everybody can only donate up to $1,000 per person, including millionaires and billionaires, I feel like if we say that, then let's see who's going to disagree with that. I think that's the only
Sure.
way I can judge them. Like right now, I can't really judge anyone from taking money. I mean, we have Elon Musk throwing his entire wealth behind Republicans. You have to take money from who's going to give you money at this point. Like if you don't take money from them, like in Pennsylvania and in Ohio, two of the best senators lost their seats because they just didn't have enough to counter the constant ads that the Republicans were putting out there. Like Bob Casey in Pennsylvania, one of the best guys. The guy in Ohio, I forget his name now. One of the best guys standing there with union workers, the picket line, like, and they replaced him with what? A car dealership owner that has no experience in politics. So what I'm trying to say is that unfortunately people have to take money right now. So can we really judge them based on who they're taking money from right now? Because billionaires have the money. I mean, if a billionaire wants to give me money right now, I'll take it until the playing field is level. And we can because you know what, Democrats actually have more small donors, small dollar donors than Republicans. Republicans have more billionaires donating to them. So if we
Not anymore.
we never let it pass. I'm sorry.
Not anymore.
No, I'm saying.
Yeah.
I looked at the numbers for last year. Republicans did not have as many small donors as most of Kamala's money came from small donors.
Okay.
Most of Republican money came from large.
And Ken Martin, do y'all know Ken Martin, who just got elected DNC chair?
Yes.
He says fuck small money donors. He literally just came out a couple weeks ago and was like, we need to stop taking money from small donors. He didn't say it in that
That's what I was
wording.
going to say. He didn't actually say that.
He did not say that, but he got a huge round of applause.
He said
we need to get money from the good billionaires.
He said we have to take money from billionaires. And isn't that the truth? That's the truth.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes.
sorry,
Okay.
I agree with you. I agree with you. We need to reverse Citizens United. We need to remove dark money from politics. We need to remove people being able to contribute whatever. Like Elon Musk should not be able to contribute $250 million to Trump.
Yeah.
We should not be able to do that.
Right.
I agree 100%. But until we're able to make that a law, everybody has to take money from who's going to give them money.
All right, let me answer your question.
Okay, fine, you go first, Corey. I was going to ask a question.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I feel like a quote unquote good billionaire is an oxymoron.
I hear you.
Ken Martin
help me understand that, you guys.
No, I didn't say a good billionaire. I didn't say good. I said you just have to take money from who you gotta take money from. I didn't say good because I don't know what's in their hearts. Like,
all right,
I like Mark Cuban, but who knows what he's gonna be if he ever gets power? I don't know.
Sure. I liked him too.
I do too.
He told Kamala if she gets in, she needs to fire Lena Khan. The only person in big government that was ever going to help us, that has been helping us. Yeah, she was in charge of the FTC or FEC, FEC. And just look her up, Lena Khan, and now Trump fired her.
I hear you, Sean.
She's amazing.
I totally agree with you guys. I'm not.
Go ahead, Katrina. I still got more to say, but go ahead. You
I'm just saying.
I know. I'm bad. I know.
You don't have money.
I hear you.
In this current politics.
Yeah.
You're as well as dead. I'm sorry,
Katrina. What are your thoughts right now?
So I hear you, Ari. You are right. Beggars can't be choosers, right? So that's a very valid point. But anyone who has that amount of money, they have not gained it through ethical means, right? Like, let's just call a spade a spade. So, okay, so what's the solution then? And I get it. I know, like, no one has like what is that hard line answer, right? But we have to start somewhere. So then what does that mean? Is there some sort of a compromise between who's considered acceptable in terms of wealthy donors?
Mhm.
Is there a pre-selected list, a pre-approved list of certain people that
Make one.
have that amount of wealth, right? Like, I mean,
Make one.
I'm just making something up again.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just
Yeah.
throwing this out there to say, what does that mean? What does it look like? Are small donors okay? Fine, great. People are okay. But when it comes to like lobbyists and like corporations and, again, a lot of the things that we talked about last time too, but it's like, okay, so what does that look like? How do we define that? I think it's important to start somewhere and start asking those questions, because it is, again, all these topics are so complicated, but
Mhm.
we can't solve it unless we start asking the questions and the right questions.
I agree.
Mhm. Excellent. All right. And on that note, Corey, did you have something else?
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, no, I mean, okay. First off, the solution is publicly
Mhm.
funded elections. Okay. Number one.
Okay.
All right. Publicly funded. Our taxpayer
Mhm.
dollars can go to it. Fine. Okay.
Right.
Our taxpayer dollars go to shit right now. Okay. As much as we
True.
pay
True.
40% of our check. I don't think there's any, I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure in all the first world countries, the most out of our checks go towards what? And then
War.
every other first world country, they pay less and they get more.
Mhm.
That's a whole nother topic. To directly kind of, Ari, you're 100% correct, right? In this game that we play, I mean, what are you supposed to do? All right. And I do think to an extent, somebody like Pete, right? Did he go into politics trying to help and make a difference? Probably. Okay.
Mhm.
But but once you get in, I think if you go in with good intentions, I think it's so different between today. Like now, I think people literally go into Congress for like fame, money, for all the wrong reasons. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
However many years ago that Pete got in, I don't know. But I do know, like, when you're in, like, it is to an extent the Democrats and people like Pete, I think they do think, well, I'm a good rich person. Like, I'm a good elite person. I think they really do believe that
Mhm.
to an extent. Nancy Pelosi, etc. But
Mhm.
it's like, hello, you guys notice that your people are Nancy Pelosi has one of the lowest approval ratings in the country. So you must understand. Anyway, I'm getting off track. But I think people have good intentions when they go in and they get corrupted and they don't realize it.
Mhm.
Someone like Mitch McConnell, no, you're a piece of shit. You're a dirty bastard, okay?
Mhm.
But
He
now
knows.
then the one last thing I will say is like there can be, if you're taking money from an activist group, right? Like if you're taking money from a pro LGBTQ group,
Mhm.
there's no, hey, where's my favor that's going to come out of that? Okay, as long as you're not doing anti-LGBTQ stuff, right? But when there's always a, hey, you owe me for
Mhm.
the other stuff.
Mhm.
If a pharmaceutical industry gives you, 50 grand, they're going to come asking. They're going to come. And once you're in that world where you've taken however much money, you owe them favors. And so
Mhm.
when a bill comes up,
Yep.
Medicaid for all or uh, uh, negotiating drug prices, blah, blah, blah. Well, am I
Mhm.
going to help the people? And then this big money person's not going to donate to my campaign anymore. or am I gonna make up some reason why I can't vote for this so I can continue to? You get into that. I need to keep power though because I'm better than the
Mhm.
Republicans, so I have to lose that part of my morality and convince myself
Mhm.
not to pass this health care bill. You know what I mean? Does it make sense? Like you
Mhm.
kind of
Yeah,
like,
I totally agree with
Absolutely.
everything you're
yeah,
saying. I
that's
100%
really,
agree with everything you're saying.
yeah.
Agree.
So
Yeah,
I
I
just,
totally agree.
I think we have to, there has to literally be food, health, pharmaceutical, oil, gas, politically affiliated, all those, no. I mean, and then whatever other groups I don't know. But I think,
Mhm.
or for example, I don't know. I mean, like, I would say it should be fair. I think if
Mhm.
Democrat politicians are allowed to take money from LGBTQ plus groups, I think
Mhm.
Republicans should be able to take money from pro-life groups, okay? But
Mhm.
not the groups that there is no partisan and we're going to ask for favors. And so determining
Mhm.
which groups, which packs are bad and which aren't, I don't know. That's a
Or
whole.
we should just take money from individuals only, and each person should
Mhm.
count as only one person. You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
everybody has a maximum. You can only give
Right.
this amount, and
Mhm.
no matter what group you build, because groups are not human beings. These
Exactly.
No,
issues affect human beings. So
Mhm.
you
that
should,
ruling needs to be overturned too. I don't know which ruling
yeah,
it's called,
Citizen
but
United,
the one that made
lobbying.
the one that
And
made
Mhm.
why do we have
corporations a person.
why do we have foreign
Mhm.
countries
Right.
lobbying American senators and Congress people?
Exactly.
Oh, I
Crazy,
know. I don't know
you
how
know?
we get APAC. That's a whole nother.
Like it
That's
doesn't
a
make
Yeah.
any
whole nother.
sense.
The
So
Israel influence is a whole nother conversation.
Mm,
Mhm.
I mean, that's
that's
part of
good.
it, though. No, a foreign groups, whether they're in this
Mhm.
country or not, should not be able to. I don't know
you
how
would
that
think people
slides
that
through.
are shouting America first would think that that will be their first thing
I
to
know.
address. But
Blows.
Mhm.
That's the biggest. Blows my mind. How you
Mhm.
guys say America first when it's obviously Israel first? Like, there's no one can give me an argument that like no, Israel runs this country. Or
Mhm.
at least they run the foreign affairs aspect of this country. You know.
Mhm.
I think our foreign affairs in Israel's is kind of like this. I don't
Mhm.
know if they want
Blended.
it, but it's like this.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, in
All right. Well, thanks, guys, for sharing all of your topics, hot topics, and things that matter to you. Thanks
Mhm.
to everyone for listening tonight. This was our first recordings, and we did it. Took a couple of weeks, but we got here.
Mhm.
And we hope to drop another video next week. So I hope that you will join
Mhm.
us and follow us on Substack. If you can subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. And we hope you have a wonderful weekend.
yeah.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.